Okay. So software intelligence in automotive industry, which happens to be our primary market, so to speak. So as you probably know, cars are becoming connected, and car makers are trying to bring new capabilities to address traffic jams and congestion. Platooning, for instance, needs car-to-car communications, car-to-infrastructure, and there is autonomous driving and higher driver assistance functions that go in this direction. So many of these features are driven by software, and more features offered in car are driven by software. ADAS, self-driving cars, car-to-X communications. At the same time, there is a general trend in product development to do more variants, to customize more to the customer, and this is also happening in automotive. The release cycles are going down. They are probably not going to adopt the quarterly release cycle of MPS, but still they are supposed to become faster. And in all this, maintaining quality and obtaining certification, especially as software gets in the way with the driving itself, is becoming more and more of a challenge. So this is the kind of background that is driving embedded software designer. When we talk about quality assurance, it is a lot. It's very important for functional safety, which is standardized even, but also for security. If you think of the communication mechanisms, and their standardization is not quite there yet, but things are moving. So topics that are interesting our users and us, therefore, is clarifying software requirements, unambiguous, complete, etc. Requirements-driven testing, supplier management, confidence in software quality, maintaining legacy code. So a lot of users are going towards model-based development of software, but still have a lot of legacy code. And finally, integrating application and platform software. So these are things that interest us, and here is Embedded Software Designer in terms of 3 major modules. First module for defining software architecture. So we have importers from various architecture description languages. We have ways to capture legacy code and also to discover architecture from that. You can then enrich architectures, for instance, with contracts, behavioral contracts, interface contracts, that we will check for consistency, but also reuse in the integration, validation, and verification. So the implementation side is really external. So what we provide from architectures are implementation templates currently based on C and on Simulink. So when this implementation comes back into the IVVQ module, standing for Integration, Validate, Verify, and Quality Assurance, we do various things such as static analysis, contract verification, and testing in numerous flavors from the unit level to the combining the blocks into systems and subsystems. Third module is for configuring targets, so the runtime targets in a distributed systems. We are looking at automotive and IoT platforms here. So it's about partitioning application to targets, reasoning about schedules. So we have a connect with the previous talk here. Configuring the hardware abstraction layers in a consistent and correct way, which is also a challenge and time-consuming in practice. And then driving the build process, integrating libraries, etc. So this is ESD from a user's viewpoint. How is it built? So it's built basically a lot on the open source Embedder platform and the Embedder core languages, which are of course on top of JetBrains. Below that are several external analyzers or build tool chains, so C tool chains, CBMC for model checking, SIMSO for timing analysis, and on top of the embedded languages, we have proprietary languages that describe, for instance, data flow, and various other aspects of the enrichment of the architecture. Okay, so that's ESD in a nutshell. And for our use of MPS technologies, I'm going to hand over to Dinesh. Please.
Thanks, Jan. Myself Dinesh from Chennai. I'm working part of ESD for past 4 years as a language engineer using MPS. We have been talking about how projectional editing is helping all of us in this room. So it is no different for Siemens as well. We use projectional editing to the maximum extent to provide multi-paradigm modeling for the users of Embedded Software Designer. We are able to build notations, tables, graphical editors, thanks to items as well for helping us to build all these things. We can project the same model in various views, for example textual editing, graphical editing, and various architectural views like SysML view, ADL view, or AutoSAR view. For example, what you see here is SysML view. This is the block definition diagram of the same block, and on clicking on this you would see the internal block diagrams. We have other views as well, for example ADL and AutoSAR. Once the user, we have importers as well to import the architectures from other modeling tools. Once we have the importers, we can do all sorts of stuffs that the ESD is providing. For example, say formal verification, timing verification at the architecture level itself. We also support integration of implementation from external tools, say hand-coded logic, legacy C files. We import them as feature models with the help of embedded languages, and we can import variant-aware C code as well. And we can import the implementation from Simulink model and then build as ESD models, and then do verification on that. Okay, so I thought this would be exciting for some of you here. So we are exploiting the HTTP support of MPS to expose the functionalities of ESD to the external users. For example, here the Jetty server will be listening to one port, and it accepts a request from the web browser, say HTTP request. We take the HTTP request and then we unpack it, find out what is the request, and we call the service accordingly and prepare the response and send as, say, JavaScript or CSS or images. So if you know which type of request it is, and if you have the sufficient APIs to connect to the storage, we also do that by updating the information in cloud, and this information will be later fetched from the browser and listed to the user. Say for example your requirement management ALM is there in the cloud, and your implementation is there inside ESD. You could trace both of them and then do some verification stuffs by invoking from the browser. This is one thing we are good about MPS, that we are able to customize and extend to the maximum extent. That sorry, that's the wrong one. That we are able to change the look and feel and provide a different look and feel to the Embedded Software Designer, including change of dialog. Say this is a model properties dialog where you will be able to import languages. Here we are able to import features. Say we are able to modify the tips of the day, provide our own tips to the user, and also we are giving a new project view similar to how the logical view of MPS, with things like code support, documentation. When you create a root node, it automatically creates a virtual package and says which type of root node it is. How we do it? Using the build project from MPS. Thanks for that. And then we developed a new DSL along with items to add and remove actions. That is the action filter available in embedded. This is one slide why I want to say I want to be inside MPS and do not want to code in any other IDE for the rest of my life. So say ESD is such a huge project where we have lots of languages to maintain over the years. Say for we have been maintaining for 6 years, 5.5 years now. So Git and Subversion plays a major role for both the language engineers as well as for our customers to manage our models. And this one, the auto completion, it makes me addict wherever I go. Say I go to Google and say control space, why the hell it is not coming? So MPS made me think that auto completion should be there everywhere where I go. So all sorts of auto completion in editors and the quick fixes, refactoring capabilities, renaming, it makes me inside MPS, and I do not want to go outside it. So to add more to the addictiveness, Embedder has brought context actions. We developed certain extensions on top of that for our users who doesn't want to have the keyboard, who doesn't want to use the keyboard much and want to use the mouse more. So this is also adding more to the addictiveness. So we didn't add much of information about the capabilities of ESD here, but we want to show what are the things that we like in MPS and we want to use in MPS. So I will call my colleague Sanjit now to introduce more that we are targeting for the next year.
Now? Okay. Okay. So what we are planning to do, we want to put our tool in web browser. So this is not implemented, it's just edited in Paint. And yes, so the use case for this is, so when we give our tool to organization, so there are a lot of people working in their organization in different level. So everybody will not use a heavyweight tool like MPS. So it takes around, so if you load our tool, it takes around almost 2 GB in your RAM. So so there are some users, like some managers or some people who want to use the functionality of, say, ESD, and for them they need a lightweight way of going. And currently I believe web browsers are supporting these kind of things. Like we see like other IDEs like Eclipse, or you can see Amazon Cloud9. They are already supporting the IDE inside web environment. So we also want to go in that direction and give certain functionality of our tool in web browser. Then ESD functionality as a service. Yes. So currently also we are doing this, like you can execute the test runs and all these things from outside, but we want to expose services of ESD so that other users can use ESD from their tool instead of opening whole MPS and running it in some headless mode or something. Then yeah, this is something that we want to do. So like as Dan said, we can't give whole MPS to our user. We do a lot of RCP and customization before giving it to customer, and we want to make the domain specific to customer specific, and we see the potential with MPS that we can do that. So now we are able to do lot of customization, and now we are doing customization in the UI level, but we see there is a potential of doing customization in the DSL level when some customer asks some specific. So every, again, in a domain, they use their domain specific language, but if you go inside, every customer, they also have their own set of standards and language. So with MPS, we think we can make it possible to customize the DSL for different customer. So this is something also yeah, we are planning. And again, like as Jan also mentioned in the initial slides, so we want to deploy our code to different hardwares, and again debug them and show it to the user. So currently we are currently this is not available, but you can. So currently that thing is missing that we want to implement in our future releases. And in this, we one interesting thing that we want to implement is we want to support the Wi-Fi devices and support IoT, so that you can do real-time logging of the things and debugging, and yeah, it sounds good. Okay, and one more thing. Okay, one more thing I want to add for the web part is, so when you go to customer and you speak them about we are using DSL, it is projectional editing and all these things, yeah, say they understand, but they don't pay more attention. Whereas if you say something like we are there in the web, or we are using machine learning, or our tool is having artificial intelligence, or say we have some blockchain applications, then they then they pay attention. Like yesterday someone is explaining, and someone asked, is it supporting machine learning, because that is something that kicks. So that is again one more reason we want to put some fanciness to the tool, and it also helps. And about our so this the we want, if we get it from yes, MPS or then it would be very less, it will be good for us. And there is I think this we are also discussing in like yesterday. So IntelliJ IDEA do have this IDE feature trainer. So there you can train a user, but the same thing in will be good if you have it in MPS. And we are also interested if there can be a framework for this, so we can also add our customization and let our user trained by this framework. And then yes, so this is debatable again, integration with Eclipse plugin. But yes, there are, so when you look into some use cases, they are already implemented in some Eclipse plugins, and you would like to get it for free when you have a support from Eclipse plugin. That's the but as I see, the community is growing in MPS, and a lot of those Eclipse features also will get replaced with some kind of DSL, and then you use them. So that's again a good thing. So we grow together as a community, we grow good. Yeah. So and thank you for this meetup. We got to know about many new things, and like as Dan said, the productivity of MPS is less because we have lot of plugins. Like if you just create a table of your own without embedders plugin, then yeah, then your productivity is not as good as if create a table in say Swing. So yeah, so that's all I think from us. Thank you. And any questions? Yes. No. So okay. So there are some Eclipse plugins which do certain work. Say for example, like I want to import some like I said, some Jira task. Say I want to integrate with Polarian. So there are Eclipse plugin available. Say something like Mylin. So if there is a portability between MPS to Eclipse plugins, then we can just use it. But yes, because both say are the same Java technology, and if it is possible. Yes. Okay. So like you are asking the technology behind it, or like you are asking the usability of the technology, how we do it. Sorry. No. No, no, it is not implemented. It is yeah, it's okay. So okay, currently we have no idea how to implement it, but yeah, it's currently we have no idea how to implement it, but there are some plugins like Jetpad and something. There, I saw in the internet there is a website from I think Vaclav. Vaslab, like you have some similar implementation in web. I think some POC or something, if I'm not wrong. Okay. No, that yeah. Yes. So currently how we partially address this problem is, so MPS do expose some web service, and you can call the web service to get the editor in the browser. So that's how, like how Dinesh shows, we put the model on our things in the web browser, but that's not like you cannot edit them, you cannot execute intention, or you cannot do auto completion and all those things. Yes. Yes. Any other question, or we go? Yes. Yeah. If there is no, oh yes, please. That's again a topic of discussion. Possibly, yeah. Jan can answer that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other question, or else we can go for lunch early. Yeah, earlier than expected.